All right, so now we're talking about driving traffic with Instagram. So on Twitter, in our content ecosystem, like in outside of the master's curriculum, where we actually talk about promotions and product launches and all that other stuff, the main thing you're doing is you're just plugging your newsletter or your lead magnet under one tweet every day. So today I plugged this newsletter under this. Yesterday I plugged one of my blog articles under a previous tweet where it fit. The day before that, I actually did that twice yesterday because it doesn't really matter because this isn't like a plug. I'm not asking for anything here. I'm just saying read more about this. That's the power of having a newsletter backlogged, is that you're not asking anyone to do anything, but when they click on it, they have the option to opt in. And that usually results in more email subscribers than just telling someone to go and do it. So that's one thing to take into account. In essence, I'm saying don't try to sell, just leave the option there and drive traffic that way. But so as we talked about in the last one, this one way you can drive traffic similar to this is when every single morning or throughout the day, I screenshot these tweets without my face or without anything. I just crop it and I post it to my story, and then I can screenshot the next thing that I plug. So this is kind of cohesive, where you have to think like, okay, what am I going to plug under a specific tweet today? And then you screenshot both of those and you add them in succession in your story, right? So I don't think I have any in here right now. No, I'm going to do that later, but just as an example. So that's one way to drive traffic, where you leave the link in the story once a day, right? Easy. And then the next thing is the story highlights. So people will check these out, but usually these include your newsletter, flagship products. So mine's Modern Mastery HQ, the podcast, maybe a lead magnet, maybe Who Am I? It's really up to you. I have a Musings one, but what I do every single Saturday, along with the newsletter and everything else, I'll go over this in the very last video of this module, but I upload them to my concepts, right? So let's paint a picture here. So concepts are pretty much my newsletters. This is my newsletter. And what I do here is inside the newsletter, I post the story. So I post this to my story. And then after that, I post a link to my newsletter, right, with just a screenshot and the link down there, right? And so now when people go through this story highlight, it's all the same, right? It's a system where people will get sent to my newsletter every Saturday, read it, and probably subscribe, right? And that's the system that I go with. Now, how do I get people here? So captions are the next way to structure a post, where you write the caption, and this can follow just a general copywriting framework. That's what everything is. Whenever you're writing content, you need to keep in mind how a persuasive writing is structured. So whether it's AIDA, which is attention, interest, desire, action, or PAS, which is problem, amplify, solution, and then directing them somewhere else. But this is the thing. At the end of every caption, every single caption, you can, I say the co-letter went out. You can find it by clicking my bio link, scrolling down to the blog and reading it. I'm very specific there because people they just have trouble reading and finding stuff. You'll learn that. But you can also find the link in my story or concepts highlights on my profile. While you're there, join the co-letter so you get it sent straight to your inbox each Saturday, right? So now I'm directing them to both my story, where the link is, and my concepts highlight, where the link also is, and on some other posts. So let's look at this one, right? This is a longer caption, and this did absolutely insane. The longer captions help, but you write the caption, of course, and then at the very end, I edited it out of this one because it was a promotion, but let's see. Yeah, so caption, and then if you have no idea what to build, I have 2 free resources in my bio link. One is a 7-day creative challenge, one is a planner. thedanco.com to grab them. And so they can either go to my bio link, which is my profile, and I have my lead magnets there at the very top, right here and right here. But you don't need the personal website. You can use something like Linktree or Card. So Linktree is just a classic, right? Where you set up your Linktree. Like that's what it looks like, kind of like that, where you can add the links to it and then you just direct them to that and you tell them exactly which link to click on to get to what you're telling them to do, right? So those are the main ways of directing traffic. I'm looking right now. Yeah, those are the main ones. Those are the ones that I would focus on just to keep things simple. I don't do reels. I don't do videos anymore. I do them occasionally, but there's no call to action. It's more so for authenticity at this point to maintain that brand pillar. I don't really care about growth. These aren't for growth. I just throw them in every so often when I want to. I have not noticed. Everyone's like, oh, you need to do reels. You need to do short videos. And it doesn't make sense to me. Like there's no, here's the thing. Unless you are an expert at TikToks or Reels, they're almost entirely useless aside from just adding a bit of diversity to your content. They don't help you, from my experience, from growing to 220,000 followers, they do not help in terms of growth at all. Like they're probably the worst thing for growth, in my opinion. Carousels and good content, high engaging content and good, well-written captions will trump everything in terms of growth. You need to focus on good writing. Again, I'm just saying it again. After all of this, focus on, if you can grow a Twitter account, you can grow any other social media platform account. Okay. So that's it for this video.